Hello, dear students. I am Sampada Sawant, Assistant Professor of Philosophy. In this video, we are going to do Unit 1, Introduction to Indian Philosophy of the paper Indian Philosophy 3. In this video, we shall cover the topic Nastika Schools of Indian Philosophy. This is the part 2 of Unit 1. In the previous video, we did classification of Indian philosophy. This classification was based on the belief in Vedas and the no belief in Vedas. The ones that believe in Vedas, the schools of Indian philosophy that believe in Vedas, are called Astika schools, whereas those schools which do not believe in Vedas are called Nastika schools. Nastika does not mean no belief in God, it's just no belief in Vedas. This video will only cover the general features and the basic ideas of the schools of these philosophies. So let's begin. Begin with, we start with Charvaka. Charvaka school was also called as Lokayata school. Lokayata because it was more appealing to the commoners. It did not have any fancy philosophical ideas. They were simply engaged in the normal material world. They were attached to the normal way of the world, the material life, enjoying the material life. They believed in materialism. Materialism means that only matter exists. So there is no God, there is no Atma, there is no rebirth, there is no transmigration of soul. All that exists is all that which can be seen. So the rocks we see, the stones we see, the people we see, if we can see them, if we can understand them, then only that is reality. So it believed in matter, that which can be seen, that which can be perceived, that which can be understood. So that is materialism. It believed in empiricism. Empiricism is a doctrine that believes in that knowledge comes only from sense experience. There is no other way of gaining knowledge. So knowledge comes only from the five senses. It does not come from the internal sense of mind. So it does not believe in intuitive knowledge. Charvaka does not believe in intuitive knowledge. If I can see it, if I can smell it, if I can touch it, if I can feel it, if I can taste it, then that is enough for me. So that is the only fact for me. So that is empiricism, the idea that sense experience is the source of knowledge. It is also a skeptical school. Skepticism means doubt. It rejected inference and testimony. Inference and testimony are sources of knowledge. Okay, testimony is the holding the Vedas as the authority. So, like I said, it's a Gnostic school. It did not believe in Vedas, so it also did not believe in any testimony, any written testimony. Okay, it did not believe in Shabda. All it believed was all that can be seen and understood. It accepted only perception. Perception is another source of knowledge. So, perception, inference, and testimony are sources of knowledge. Perception means knowledge which is gained through the senses, the five senses. Okay. It also believed in Dehatmavad. Deha, Atma, Vada. Deha is body, Atma is soul. Okay. What it believed is there is no different soul inside the body. So far, what we have been studying is that there is a body which is different from the soul, and the soul is different from the body. But Charvaka did not believe in such a distinction. It said that soul is just an accidental character of the body. Okay. Since it believed in only matter, it believed only in body, and for it, body is the only soul. So far, what we have been learning is once the body dies, the soul remains. The soul does not die with the body. But Charvaka does not believe so. It says if the body dies, the soul also dies with it. Okay, that is what is materialism. It believed in only the body and not the soul. It's a hedonistic school. What does it mean? Hedonism means pleasure. Pleasure for Charvaka is the only goal of human life. Okay, eat, live, drink, and be merry. Be happy. Okay. That was the goal of Charvaka. It only believed in pleasure. The questions that Charvaka approached was how far can we know the reality? So I can know the reality as much as I can see it. If I cannot see, can I see the soul? Can I see the Atma? No. Then that is not reality for me. And where does knowledge originate from? So knowledge for Charvaka originates only from the five sense organs and not from mind or not from meditation or not from any spiritual practices. All these were done, all these beliefs were a part of Charvaka because Charvaka wanted to overcome the Brahmanical tradition. In the society, Brahmins were very dominating. They wanted to control everything. They were acting as mediators, the middleman between God and persons, God and individuals. So Charvaka, in order to bring down this Brahmanical tradition, came up with Charvaka school, also called as Lokayata. The next Nastika school is Jainism. The word Jainism is derived from the word Jina, which means conqueror. The word is applied to the liberated soul, the soul which has attained moksha. They are called Tirthankars, who have conquered passions and desires. They have overcome all their passions and desires. The Jainas believe in 24 such moksha or liberated souls. The last of them was Lord Vardhaman Mahavir, whose teachings are the basis of Jaina philosophy. The Jainas hold that every object has innumerable characteristics. Every object is what it is because of the positive and negative characters. Realities like Jiva, Ajiva, Dharma, Adharma, Akash, Kal are the different types of realities it believes in. Okay? Syadavada and Anekantavada. What does it mean? Syadavada is nothing but the theory of relativity of knowledge. It means that when I'm looking at a particular thing, let's say an apple is red, an apple tastes sweet because it tastes sweet to me. You may not like the apple, but that does not make the apple as sweet a false statement. Apple is sweet, but it is sweet from my perspective. You don't like apple, that not liking, that hatred for apple for whatever reason is your perspective. So Syadavada is the theory of relativity. Just because you don't accept a particular sentence does not mean that my sentence about that thing is false. Every idea is true, every idea is relative to the individual seeing that object or idea. Okay. So particular object can be seen from different perspectives. Now just because I say something is right and you say something is wrong does not make it undecidable. It is right because it is right from my perspective. That does not mean your understanding is wrong. Your understanding is also right about it, that it is wrong. Okay. Anekantavada is nothing but the doctrine of many sidedness of reality. So that is what I'm talking about. A particular idea or object can be seen from different perspectives, and each perspective is true. Just because I see the A side of a thing does not mean B side does not exist. You see the B side of it does not mean the A side does not exist. Somebody else sees the C side. It does not mean A and B side does not exist. It only means that A, B, and C are equally true. They're equally real. That is Anek Antavada. Anekanta. Aneka is many. Anekantavada. Then we come to Pancha Mahavratas. Jainas prescribe certain vrata, five vratas. The five preachings of Jainism are non-injury or ahimsa, truthfulness or satya, non-stealing or asteya, celibacy or brahmacharya, and non-possession as aparigraha. Then we come to three ratnas. The three ratnas are nothing but the moral codes of conduct. They are right faith, samyak darshan. This faith is nothing but an unshaken belief in the Jain scriptures and their teachings. Once you understand the teachings, you develop faith in those teachings. Next is right knowledge, samyak jnana. Right knowledge is knowledge of the principles of Jaina religion and philosophy. And then is right conduct, samyak charita. Right conduct is translating into action what one has learned and what one believes to be true. So when you combine Samyak Jnana and Samyak Darshan and you put it into action, it becomes Samyak Charita. Then we come to Buddhism. It is based on the teachings of Gautama Buddha. Siddhartha or Gautama Buddha is the founder of Buddhism. He was born in a royal family of Kapilavastu in the 6th century BC. Early in life, disgusted by the sight of disease, old age, decay, and death, Siddhartha renounced the world and he went in search of truth and peace. With great determination, he practiced intense meditation to search the mystery of the world's miseries. He realized that this old age, decay, death is so sorrowful, is so depressing that he wanted to look for the root cause of all these sufferings. He wanted to understand the mystery of these world miseries. So, this painstaking effort fetched him with enlightenment. He went into meditation, he practiced contemplation, and through that, he achieved enlightenment and became Gautama, Buddha. Okay, he became the Buddha, the enlightened one. The message of his enlightenment laid the foundation of Buddhist religion as well as philosophy. Gautama Buddha preached four noble truths. So, when he went into meditation and became the Buddha, he realized that there is a mystery of this world miseries. And this mystery is the truth of the world. This is the fact of life. And he said there are four such facts of life. First fact is that there is suffering. Obviously, we see suffering all around us. So he said there is suffering. Then he says there is a cause of this suffering. Third, this suffering can be stopped. So he's not just saying that there is suffering and then there is a cause of suffering. He goes beyond to tell that this suffering can be stopped. And then, fourth, he says there is a specific way to stop that suffering. So he's not just giving you some details on the world, he's not just mentioning facts, he's also telling that okay, there is suffering, there is a cause of suffering. This suffering can be stopped, and it can be stopped by using a certain practice, by using a certain path. So these are the four noble truths that Gautama Buddha preached. Then we come to the idea of Pratitya Samutpada. It means dependent origination. Okay. What does this mean? So when he says there is a cause of suffering, what he's saying is this suffering is because of something else. It is not just there because it wants to be there, because it is accidental. It is there because of certain roots in the past. So he says ignorance is the main root of this suffering. Okay. And then he gives a list of 12 such causes, which we'll study in detail in the unit 4. Then we come to the eightfold path. The eightfold path is nothing but the path leading to the stopping of that suffering. So you remember the fourth cause, a fourth noble truth. The fourth noble truth was there is a specific way to stop the suffering, and this specific way is recommended by Buddha in the eightfold path, which we'll again study in the fourth unit. Then we come to Anatmavada. Anatmavada is nothing but the theory of no self. Charvaka said Dehatmavad, and Buddhism says Anatmavad. Dehatmavad was that body itself is the soul. Anatmavad is Buddha does not believe in any soul at all. He's not saying the body is the soul. He's just saying that whatever you think the soul is nothing but your mental impressions of the world. When these mental impressions form a chain, you feel that there is something called a soul inside you. So let's imagine this in the form of the example of a film, a movie that you see. When you go to the theater or you watch a movie on a television, you see the movie as one movie itself. But in fact, this is not just one movie in running in a flow. This movie is a collection of different shorts and different episodes and different ideas put together, which we call movie, which we call film. So, film is not just one entity, one thing. It is a collection of different ideas, different shorts, different episodes, dialogues, characters, roles, situations. When you bring these together, what comes out as a product is a film. Similarly, what we see as soul is nothing but a collection of these different mental attachments to the world. We build up certain ideas in our mind. Okay? When these ideas, these attachments, these desires, when they come together, we think that that is soul. But there is no such thing as soul. So Anatmavad is there is no soul at all. Then is the Shanikavad, theory of momentariness. What it means is, what Buddha is trying to say is, why do we feel that there is suffering? Because we become attached to things. Okay? But if we understand the world as being momentary, we will not get attached to things. So Buddha says we have to not get attached to things. They are momentary. For now, this particular video is running. In the next moment, this video will stop. This video will not go on forever. Okay. You have to go beyond to understand Buddhism. Buddhism cannot be just understood through this video. So don't depend upon this video. Don't get attached to the video to understand Buddhism. So it's just a simple example. Do not become attached to things. Things are momentary in the world. So Shanikavad is Shanik, Shana. Everything changes from moment to moment. Nothing is permanent in this world. These are the philosophies of Charvaka, Jainism, and Buddhism. And all these three schools do not depend upon Veda to explain their philosophies. They are independent schools. Thank you.